everybody, Remrov here. I'm a classic artist who makes these videos to educate about autism and to build a bridge in between the autistic and neurotypical world, and I hope to be a voice for non-verbal people with autism. In this video I want to talk more about why it is so extremely difficult to communicate over the phone, and many other autistic people will agree with me on this, I'm sure of that. So when the phone rings, when I hear the phone ringing, it's just a huge startle for me. This sense of fear comes over me, and it just really feels like an invasion. Somebody wants something from me right at that moment without a warning, and it comes extremely suddenly. So it's extremely unpredictable. A lot of questions start to pop in my mind, like who is it? How does this person talk? Is he going to talk clear or mumble? Or am I able to understand what he or she wants from me? The unpredictability of it is a big part of why it is so difficult. There are a few other reasons, and another one is the sound. When you're on the phone with somebody, the sound is always a bit distorted. It's always different, more high-pitched or canny, or you'll hear cracks during the phone conversation. And those sounds can be quite painful on your ears. The voice, the sound of the voice is also immediately injected into your ear since you have the phone on your ear. So I always try to hold the phone a little bit back from my ear, a little bit further away from my ear, I mean. But then it still feels like pins and needles, that voice right in my ear, just painful. People also talk with a variety of volumes, so then I constantly have to adjust the distance in between my ear and the phone, and yeah, that takes a lot of focus and makes me miss half of what the person is saying. Then you also have a lot of people who call you while they're on the streets, for example, with their cell phones, and there are a lot of other noises around. So then I have to filter out their voice out of all those other noises, which is extremely difficult. And it's just a hurricane of noises, and it's just extremely overwhelming. So another reason why it is difficult is the processing of information. With us autistic people, the processing of information works different, and it can also work slower. Of course, a sound issue also makes this even more difficult. There are a lot of sounds around, and you have to filter out somebody's voice. Then it's also more and more difficult to process the information if you miss half of it. During any conversation, the processing of information takes time for me, and it also responding back to somebody, finding the right words that somebody's saying, it just takes time. And when you're having a conversation face to face, then you can see somebody thinking. But if you're on the phone and you suddenly have a silence, then it can be extremely awkward. And somebody can even think that you're not there anymore. Any silence is quite awkward during a phone conversation. So actually, yeah, I just have to process the information too fast. I just won't be able to do that. So it just takes a huge amount of energy out of me to have a phone conversation because of that. In another video about eye contact, I said that during conversation. I find it extremely difficult to have eye contact because of the facial expression, the information you get from the eyes. It's just too much on top of the words that somebody's saying. So you might think, oh, phone conversations are a lot easier because you don't have any eye contact. And that's actually the only good thing about it. But you're also missing a lot of other visual information. Like when you're having a face-to-face conversation, you can nod and you can smile when somebody sees that. But during the phone conversation, that doesn't work, obviously. So that means the whole phone conversation only relies on words. You have to respond with words, which is difficult if words don't come all that easy to you. Calling somebody myself, I also find extremely difficult, and I really tend to avoid at all costs. I just want to try to send an email or things like that. But sometimes that's just not possible. You don't know somebody's email, or they don't have an email address, or it's a company where you can only call. It makes it even more difficult if it's a company. When I'm dialing a number and then I'm waiting, I hear the phone ringing and I'm waiting, and it's just the total unknown when or if somebody's gonna pick up, who's gonna pick up. If you call a company, for example, is that person gonna be talking clear? Is that person gonna have like an accent, for example, that I won't be able to understand? And when the person picks up, you immediately have to be ready and to say what you want to say. So it just costs a lot of like preparation and practicing before you make the phone conversation about what you're going to say. What I also find very difficult is leaving a message on a voicemail. I find that even just extremely unnatural. I often don't do that, but when I call about something extremely important and I really want somebody to call me back, then I do leave a message. But I do that the second time when I call that person back, because the first time everything has been so stressful that I didn't really prepare a message for a voicemail. So all these things together make it extremely difficult to communicate over the phone. And talking over the phone costs so much out of me, so much energy and so much focus that it can just be overwhelming, and it just drains me. It just costs a lot of energy. There are things that can make it easier though. Avoiding the phone, avoiding phone calls. Sending emails is just better for me. Even texting or messages through Facebook, anything but phone calls. But sometimes you can't avoid it. So then it would help me if somebody would send me an email first and then tell me that they want to call me over the phone and what time and about which topic, so that I can prepare for it. It also helps if the first time they call me that I'm not present, and that they leave a message so that I know who's calling and about what, so again I can prepare for it. When people call an autistic person, it's just a good thing to keep in mind that you call from a quiet area. Don't call when you're walking on a busy street with cars and other sounds or hard winds, for example, because it just prevents the other person from following anything you're saying. You also have to keep in mind to talk really clear. Don't mumble, for example. Don't talk too loud, and don't use too many variations in your volume. Just try to keep it a bit at the same volume the whole time. That might help also a lot. And a good thing to keep in mind is that you keep phone calls quite short. Just only the most necessary information, not much chit-chatting, and also keep in mind that there might be silence if every now and then, a little bit more than you're used to, and because it takes an autistic person longer to process the information. So just have a bit of patience on the phone. So that was it. I hope you find this useful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can stay updated about my videos. You can also consider to become my patron on Patreon for only $1 a month. You can support me with this project, and you can also watch patron only videos, which is quite nice. So Pilaf and I wish you a great day, and we hope to see you with our next videos again. Bye!